Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over 30 things that you didn't know about Lumber Tycoon 2. Without further ado, let's get right into it. The Spicy Turkey was initially meant to release in 2020, however Defaultio literally forgot to add it, so instead he added the turkey leftovers and added the Spicy Turkey in 2021. The Lost Cave's intended route is to blow up the rock above this pillar here, which I don't see anyone do because it's quite pointless when you can literally use a long plank to get up here, and you need a long plank to get over this gap anyway, so it's pretty much pointless. Because of 2021's major Halloween outage, Defaultio added 24 hours to the End Times event, however he forgot to extend spook spawning with it. This led to Operation Restore End Times, in which me, Try, and Dalray made a proposal to Josh to fix Halloween and bring back spook spawning the next weekend. This led to multiple spook trees being able to spawn at once and the rerun of the event the next weekend. This small rock in the swamp actually has a secret passage that leads to the river tunnel. This rock used to be able to get exploded, allowing the player passage into what was the unfinished portion of the river tunnel. Of course, in 2018 this was converted into Tit Kat Ward's Memorial. Next to the swamp rock, there are 3 parts with a negative transparency. These parts are all meshes, meaning that you can see through them and walk on them like normal. The use of them is unknown and they are highlighted in the image seen on screen now. While the game was in development and in early pre-alpha, small brick buildings were seen across the map. These were just decoy buildings and they served no purpose except for experimenting with layout as said by Defaultio. It is likely that these buildings will never be seen again. Many people might believe that oak trees were the first trees that were modeled, however cherry trees were actually the first. On screen now is 2 tests of the very first tree models, courtesy of Defaultio. In June 2019, Defaultio expanded the map for unknown reasons. The pieces of this expansion include the Safari Peninsula and the Safari Cliff Peninsula, which is a series of rocks added behind the safari. Additionally, the ocean was also expanded outwards, meaning that whatever was going to come here was something big. I guess we'll never know what Defaultio was truly planning, but it does leave the LT2 community's heads spinning. The Mainland Arch has been in game since beta testing, and we still don't know what it does. However, leaks have shown that there's actually a tunnel built into the mountainside, which connects to the river tunnel and the swamp rock. Due to how LT2's code works, every axe requires a box, meaning that axes which don't have a box actually do have one hidden in the files. However, the End Times Axes box was exploited into the game, which Defaultio responded by putting I cheated for this box on all sides of it. Every tree in the game also requires a leaf type, even if it's not visible. And thus, Spook's leaves actually just have a size of 0, while the actual leaf is the same as that of the zombie tree, meaning that the trees are loosely related. On May 13, 2018, this plot across from the Landstar was moved 0.1 studs away from the ground so that it wouldn't intersect with this one unit. Meanwhile, there's this plot over by the mountain, which intersects a full unit. How is this still in the game? You literally cannot place blueprints on this whole side. What the hell, bro? Ah! As the owner of the game, Defaultio has a lot of power, some of which include putting out a message to all servers, and others include altering things on your base. For example, Defaultio gave me a 4-4 ball on my slot 6 when I lost it due to a base corruption. Ever see something weird about the End Times axe? If you look closely, you can actually see a texture on the axe head. This is the same texture as the Dark Seed on Roblox. You don't know what this is? Well, it's the Dark Pumpkin in LT2. That's right, they have the same texture. Whenever Defaultio does a revert, he runs a bot to do it for him. What, you thought he did all by himself? That would take literally hours. You know what did take hours? Editing this video. Help me, please. The Gift of Good Health texture got corrupted recently for unknown reasons, but it originally looked like this. But did you know that when it was first submitted, it actually looked like this? Leave a like if you think this texture should come back into the game. See this tree behind me? Well, it's actually not an elm tree. It's called an oak tree. That's right, this tree is designed after oak trees in real life and is named oak tree in the files. This also makes it super compatible with Test 2's oak tree, which also looks relatively the same. So then you may be asking, what's the oak tree's name? This thing. It's called a generic tree because, well, it's generic, just like you if you're not subscribed to this channel right now. That's right, the end times biome was actually called the Lone Cave. Shocker, I know. Anyways, the tree in the Lone Cave is actually called the Lone Cave Tree. I hope this finally settles the debate between End Times Tree and Phantom's Tree. It's Lone Cave Tree, people. Everyone knows that the ocean kills you when you stay in it for long enough. However, did you know that the ocean is actually made of iridium? That's right, iridium from one of Josh's other games, Eclipsis, a game which he made along with David I a few years ago and it's still in alpha to this day. However, Josh doesn't work on it anymore and he handed the game over to Busy City Guy to be the main developer. Woodhouse is home to many items, however, it was once home to the Gold Axe during pre-alpha testing. That's right, the most powerful axe in the game was sold in Woodhouse for an unknown amount of money, along with various other items which are also available in the VIP room, a special room available to pre-alpha testers who want to help out the game. Inside of this rock there is a mysterious pink plank. This was added when the Strange Man and the Lost Cave was added to the game. The use of it is currently unknown, although it's probably either a troll for exploiters or scale used when modeling the cave. I'm sure many of you know about colored fridges or have experienced them once or twice while playing. Basically, it was an exploit that occurred around a few years ago which allowed exploiters to change the color of doors to be any wood type they wanted. This is due to the fridge's doors being named build dependent wood, the same thing that all blueprint parts are named. And this allowed exploiters to fill in the doors with any wood type they wanted to, however this was shortly patched. Ever wonder why vehicles have weird respawn costs? Well, it's actually because the respawn cost is 1/50th of the original price of the vehicle, with the only exception being the sleigh due to it being a gift and not an actual vehicle bought in the store. The Very Plum gift was a gift sold in Fancy Furnishing in 2018 and was that year's ball gift. However, when it was first added into the game, the texture was very different. This was likely because Defaultio forgot to add the gift in and made a new texture instead of just recoloring the old one. In 2015, when chairs were released, they used to damage the player upon sitting on them. This is due to the same thing that makes sitting in other people's trucks damage you. However, it extended to chairs for some reason. However, this bug was shortly fixed after the chair's release. In 2016, Defaultio converted the bridge's rigid animations to using Roblox's new constraints. However, this would be a terrible mistake, as when the End Times biome was added, players were able to lower the bridge by just putting heavy objects like trucks on top of it. The discovery of the Lone Cave eventually resulted in Defaultio switching the bridge from constraints back to the rigid animation which it was at before and remains as to this day. Lumber Tycoon 2's thumbnails are one of the most iconic parts about the game. However, do you know that the colors on the base and the mountainside are completely off? The base shown, constructed by Epic Yummy, is actually made of cherry, oak, and elm wood, commonly confused with gold, cherry, and walnut wood. The huge color discrepancies in the thumbnail are actually caused because Defaultio had to upload his thumbnail through Blender, which resulted in him having to manually recolor every single object, with the most notable difference being that of elm wood, turning it to a more walnut wood color. The amount of frames per second you receive actually affect a lot of things in the game, most notably your car acceleration speed, and also your plot spinning speed. Currently, Lumber Tycoon's thumbnail looks like this, however it used to look like this, and during this time period it actually got swapped with Jailbreak, in which Lumberman swapped with the Jailbreak player. 2021's Wobble Bobble is known for being incredibly sad, however there's actually a reason behind this, and that's because his wife actually left him. This is real, this is lore in the game, and I'm not joking when I say this. And there you go, that's all 30 things that you didn't know about Lumber Tycoon 2. If you did know any of them, please leave them down in the comment section below, along with if you would like to see a part 2 for this video, as I'd be happy to make one in the near future. Anyways, this is going to be it for me, goodbye.